The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
I'm David Hall, founder of Diamond Gusset, where we are proud of our 100% grown and sewn American-made jeans. Whether you're out for dinner, working on the farm, or on the road, Diamond Gusset Jeans offers a full spectrum of style and sizes for any occasion. Our loyal customers enable us to continue sponsoring Liberty Media outlets. Use promo code FREEDOM to receive a 15% discount at gusset.com. In Liberty, David Hall, Diamond Gusset Jean Company.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
I've always believed in nutrition and herbs. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Sourced from powerful organic herbs, harvested around the planet, and then concentrated for maximum potency.
I just received my Male Vitality about 3 days ago, and I must say, that is good stuff.
After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality and getting the day started.
It's not just the Super Male Vitality. All the products at InfoWarsLife.com are simply amazing. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.
Hi, I'm Dr. Edward Group. It took me 20 years of searching the globe to find the deposit of the highest purity iodine available. The new Survival Shield X2 is mined from 7,000 to 10,000 feet below the earth in pristine, environmentally clean conditions. The iodine crystals we use are extracted from an ancient 300 million plus year old deposit deep in the earth. It's the strongest nascent iodine on the market today. It delivers 650 micrograms per drop. Experience the new formula. Experience the ancient purity. Shield your family. Survival Shield X2. Available now at InfoWarsLife.com.
X2 from InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse.
It's a military mission in North St. Louis. Heavily armored vehicles are rolling into town.
And don't be alarmed if you see those over the next 7 days rolling through your neighborhood.
If you see military helicopters flying low over Minneapolis, do not be alarmed.
Guns will be taken. No one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in.
Just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
Enough. 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 Enough.
The Department of Homeland Security is apparently on a huge ammo buying spree.
It comes out to like 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition.
NSKSLA News 12 Jeff Farrell discovered that clergy would help the government with potentially their biggest problem. Us.
So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
Mercury-containing vaccines may help, not harm kids, according to 2 new studies in the journal Pediatrics.
Black Hawk choppers soaring through the night sky, but this is only a drill.
Heavily armed officers in Watertown search for the suspect, house to house.
It's a joint military training exercise involving local police, also military.
In your apartment! I am in my apartment, sir.
Go back inside right now!
I am inside. I have 2 words for you. Predator drones. You will never see it coming.
The dramatic scene played out in front of our cameras. Parents grabbing their children and running after spending the night hunkering in their houses and then finding themselves face to face with the muzzle of a SWAT officer's rifle.
They let them in the area. They told them they could come in, and now they're coming in like they're trespassers, punching and shoving people.
We're not turning our guns in, and we're not running, and we're not backing down. If you want them, come and take them.
We are on the march. The Empire is on the run. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
See, when we protest the attack on the Second Amendment, we go down and march in San Antonio, where they claim it's illegal to have firearms loaded openly, and we exercised our Second Amendment, and the police were forced to back down and admit they were following an illegal law that violated state law that trumps the city ordinance. We didn't go down to San Antonio and burn down random shopkeepers' buildings. We went in and asked them to put little American flags in the window if they wanted open carry people to come into their businesses. And every business, except one chain operation, wanted us to come in. Now, let's look at the big PSYOP. You notice that intro's been running about a year. Darren McBreen put it together. And you see clips from 2 years ago in East St. Louis where they admitted it was martial law drills with regular Army, not just National Guard, with wheeled tanks driving around in the very area where this happened in North St. Louis. There's also been some stuff now in South St. Louis overnight, a few windows getting broken out, but nothing compared to things being burned down. And the attitude is, you heard that protester earlier who said that he was part of it, is this will bring down the system, burning up a little grocery store, mini mart, and some shoe stores and some dollar stores. And no, they just get a big insurance check, and now you don't have a place to buy gas or go in and get a loaf of bread. And it creates these urban deserts where no one wants to locate their businesses. And then it's called gentrification whenever any people do move into the area. So do you want to just stay in your housing and have nothing around you but a welfare check? See, that's why you're between a rock and a hard place. And look, I don't expect folks, I mean, the general public, people with PhDs can't figure out the New World Order. So I'm not even blaming these poor folks that are multi-generational, welfare. They at least, though, are getting that it's part of a larger agenda, and they're talking about secret societies. At least they get what, some of the general public doesn't understand. But you notice that you've got this urban warfare drill going on in East St. Louis, and they went ahead and admitted 2 years ago in the newscast that you can go watch from our article, Don't Be Alarmed, Army Trains MPs to Drive Tanks on U.S. Streets. That's one of the reports from June of 2012. U.S. Army admits troops conducting law enforcement is illegal is another story. And they're there helping the police. We shot video a decade ago of Marines in Alabama setting up real checkpoints on highways searching people. Happened a few years ago in Tennessee. A few years ago in Central California, they had Marines with sidearms doing DWI checkpoints on major highways. That was in the local California papers. I had the reporters on. So they are preparing the military to be used against the American people, not just for collapse of society, but for DWI checkpoints. Total violation of posse comitatus that's been overturned to a great extent in the last few Defense Authorization Acts under Bush and now Obama. But when you see urban warfare drills all over the country with troops on the streets and helicopters and National Guard and regular Army and State Guard at the Kite Festival or at the symphony orchestra or at the football game, searching bags while the border is wide open. A real terrorist would walk up to the line of people that's most concentrated and blow themselves up there. So it's a fake threat. Our government's giving Stinger missiles to Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Our government's got our borders wide open, but all over the country now, Army and National Guard are at the Bay Fest in Alabama or the Kite Festival in Austin, Texas, just to condition you to live under this, or at the Amtrak station with the TSA in Minnesota or Illinois or Houston, Texas. Now, I talked to Major Police Chief, San Antonio Police Chief at the time, a good guy, Ali Philippus, back in 1998, and it ended up being a national news story. I talked to emergency managers in places like Kingsville, who themselves had been in military, Army intelligence, so they understood what was happening. They were told by Delta Force and told by the Pentagon, Bill Clinton's looking at martial law. This is in my Police State 2000 film. And here's a bag of money, $200,000. We want you to take this just to show your friends. It was to compromise them. They could then later claim it was a bribe and arrest them. Take this for America. $200,000 was the average bribe. They came to Austin as well. The Travis County SWAT team didn't take the money, and so they fired the head of it. Boy, the SWAT team was just blown away when Delta Force showed up like I told them they would 6 months before. Because they were going to every major city buying everybody off. They were laughing at me the first time I went in, and then 6 months later, like, my God, come into my office. It's all real, everything you said. I mean, look, this is how they take over third world countries. This is how the Nazis took over France 2 years before they invaded. They had 90+% of the general staff, that's generals, you know, down to other commissioned officers, right down to non-commissioned, paid off, ready with new positions to run France when the Germans came in if they would stand down. The French stood down. That's important to understand. It's the same deal. So the military is running this PSYOP. I've got a radio show in 96, 97, 98. I'm told about this by Army folks that are upset about it and others. I go investigate. Suddenly, they're coming to me because I'm somebody that will talk about it. I don't understand any of it at the time. I start getting threatened. I've got military trying to set me up. I mean, literally jumping out of the bushes when I'm at an event, lighting fires and saying, "Why'd you light a fire, Alex?" So, I mean, I was like in a spy movie. I'd only been on air about a year and a half. And suddenly I've got NSA whistleblowers and military whistleblowers. And so when I talk about the military, I'm not attacking the military. They're more awake than anybody else because they don't like what's happening. They know they're training to take on the Tea Party and gun owners and veterans. They knew that before it was declassified, before I even told you, because they were going through the training. It's the command that's bad. And so suddenly they're in East St. Louis, and what they'll do, one of the highest crime rates in the country, is in Chicago and other areas where they're calling for Army to be on the streets, they'll set the precedent for troops on the streets for poor areas that are having riots as the economic depression accelerates and as MSNBC promotes race war, a.k.a. Trayvon Martin. It turned out the Justice Department did have agent provocateurs, remember this came out, down there running the whole thing with the lawyer. Just like they've got people dressed up like Klan members going to Rand Paul events, they're Democratic Party operatives, and then we catch them, so they got to back off. They're trying to stir stuff up with agent provocateurs. We've been dealing with them, you know, as of late, and it's just part of what goes on. That you're at the grocery store and somebody walks up and says, "Hey, let's kill cops together," and it's clearly a cop you're talking to. So this is what they do, folks, trying to stir stuff up. And so, yes, they could easily use a real event that happens or use an event where the cops haven't shot somebody in cold blood to hype it up with Al Sharpton, to get riots going, and then to set the precedent to have a whole bunch of Katrina-like events where they take everybody's guns. They didn't go into the 8th Ward and take the guns in New Orleans. They went into areas with $5 and $10 million famous homes and took the guns out of their safes, turned off their generators,